Hey everybody, I'm Davy-Down. Welcome to my first scenic drive video. And I thought I would start in the village of Hawes, the quaint little village of Hawes. This place is very much worth a visit, and I hope you enjoy the video that I'm going to do for you. So just to give you an idea of today's drive, we're actually starting here in Hawes, and then we're going to be going across to Leyburn through a few villages: Swinninthwaite, Aysgarth, and this is page 64 on my concise AA manual. Just thought I'd give you all a little taste of Hawes village. Little swallows, cobbled streets, Harriet's Cafe, I'm guessing after James Harriet, from All Creatures Great and Small. Church up the top. So this is the Daleside Country Museum, which is Hawes old railway station. Plenty of ample parking here. It's a good place to base yourself out of if you're starting here. There's public toilets as well there. It is a pay and display car park, but there is a lot of parking down here if the centre of Hawes is a little bit too busy. We are taking a scenic drive from Hawes down to Leyburn village, or Leyburn town, and we are doing this on a Friday afternoon in August, and it's busy. It is very busy with tourists. So the village of Hawes that we've just gone through, and unfortunately haven't been able to so much talk about because we're driving through. There's plenty of parking on the street, there's some public toilets, and there's convenience stores, some pubs, cafes. It is a proper Yorkshire Dales area to visit. Also there's the Dales Countryside Museum, as well as a creamery that's open to the public. So the whole idea on doing these scenic drives is, as well as you actually coming along and seeing some of the lovely scenery, it's also trying to give you a little bit of history, a little bit of knowledge about what's happened along these roads. I'm learning it all as well. I'm doing the research for these videos. I just thought it'd be interesting to do a video whilst we go. So Hawes is the home of Wensleydale cheese, and that's what the creamery is open for. It was first made by French monks in the 12th century, and only really became popular over the last 20 years, primarily because of a couple of animated figures called Wallace and Gromit. But yeah, I'm learning with every single drive I do to create this video. And it's quite a busy road, is this, the main A road. It runs down the full length of Wensleydale, and it has quite a bit of variety of traffic. We've got coaches on the road, we have heavy goods vehicles, articulated vehicles, plenty of motorhomes during the summer holidays, caravans. So as long as you're going at your own pace along this is not a driver's road. This is a steady, enjoy what you see. There is some stunning scenery along here. Some of the ridge lines, the granite, it's quite stark. path running through a lovely little village. Out on the east side of Bainbridge here, we cross England's shortest river, the River Bain, and obviously Bainbridge, we're going over it now. It's also one of the longest established settlements here in the Dales, being originally called the Virocidium. Yeah, Virocidium. I'll put the name just down below. During the Roman times. The A684 actually starts over in Kendal in Cumbria, and it runs for 70 miles all the way across to Ellerbeck in North Yorkshire. So we're actually, this stretch of road that we're going to drive along, look at the beautiful views. This stretch of road that we're actually going along is only 17 miles long. It's going to take you about half an hour to do the drive. I'm going to cut bits out of the video because, you know, don't want to bore you sitting here watching it for a full half an hour, but it is a drive that's worth doing yourself if you're in the area, if you're coming up for a holiday, or even if you just want a day out. And as I say, it's just some interesting anecdotes as we're going along for you might not know. Just be wary where it tightens, it's for the cars. Cars are fine passing, it's the trucks that you have to be aware of, and motorhomes. Every so often we keep on getting a glimpse on our left hand side of the River Ur. Yeah. And here we have Wensleydale ice cream parlour and coffee shop, I believe. Yes, Wensleydale ice cream parlour, shop and coffee. That place is very highly recommended. It is well worth a visit if you're in the area. This area has been known to flood and also to get some heavy snow, hence the mile. I don't know whether you can see the height markers on the left hand side of the road, because with the river just down to the left hand side, it is quite susceptible to flooding after heavy rain, after persistent heavy rain. We come up to enter Aysgarth. So Aysgarth village is actually split in two. This western side is the larger and does have a few pubs, and it also has got a private petrol station where, if you can support locally, please do. There's a nice little tea room on the left hand side as well here. Come guest house. I can categorically say I've had a meal at the Black Sheep Inn there, and that was rather nice. And there's your local station. And then this is you go into the eastern side of Aysgarth. The other side of the trees here. So the main place of interest in Aysgarth is actually Aysgarth Falls. There is a car park and a cafe just above the falls. The turning is just here on the left hand side. So yes, there's a car park and a cafe just down on the left hand side there, and then it is a short walk down to the falls, but it is quite a steep road. Just give anybody a bit of advance notice, it's quite a steep way down. You get down to the bridge that gives you a fantastic viewpoint over the River and then from when you cross over the other side of the bridge, you can actually then walk up to the falls themselves. And a little bit of trivia for you: the Kevin Costner film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves actually had some of the scenes filmed at that location. So as we're going down here, just before we're coming close to a junction with the B6160, but just before we get to that junction, we have this very tight little bend. But then also, I believe it's around the corner here. It is. We have this grade 2 listed AA box, and that is box number 442 for Aysgarth. They started appearing on our roads from 1911 and they grew to over 1,000 across the country. That one was built in the 1950s and they were only phased out in 2002 because of the advent of the mobile phone. They started out as a base for a patrolman in between emergency calls, and they then developed to house a phone. And if you're an AA member, you used to get a key that used to give you access to get into those phone boxes and be able to ring for some help. Unfortunately, now there's less than 20 of those AA boxes left, and that is one of only 8 that's classed as a listed building. So if you want to try and pull in and see the AA box, there are 2 very small laybys. But just bear in mind that with it being such a busy road, it can be awkward to try and pull back out of if you try to go eastbound or westbound. So here we enter the village of Swinthwaite. A bit more trivia for you. This village actually belonged to the Knights Templar, but was later absorbed into the manor of West Witton. This village was also mentioned in the Bernard Cornwell Saxon Chronicles book, The Last Kingdom, which was later made into a BBC television series. So here we are, we're in West Witton. So this was originally known as Witton. Originally known as Witton, this settlement has actually been here since the Iron Age and the Roman occupation. And this particular village is actually also mentioned in the Domesday Book. Quite a narrow little village. Lovely old motorcycle. Across the river here we go, into the village of Wensley. So if you haven't already guessed, this is the village that gave the valley its name, Wensleydale. This village was once home to the only main market in the valley. Unfortunately, the plague arrived in 1563, and because of that and the effect it had on the village, two markets actually sprang up, one in the west at Hawes and one in the east at Leyburn, the top and tail of this drive. And unfortunately it meant that that village quickly died off. And now we're into the final village, our destination of Leyburn. Leyburn sits on the northern bank of the River Hawes. We've just crossed over. There is a nearby car park following the signs for the A684. Lovely, quaint little village. Lovely, quaint little village. So as you can see, there's a pound display here, plenty of pubs. The village has an abundance of pubs and cafes, as well as some very local, unique shops. It's a great base for exploring the area. And here we are, finishing the village town of Leyburn. So as you can see, it's very much a lovely market town. We've got plenty of variety of shops, probably well worth the day just spending around here. A lot of people come around here to do a lot of walking, cycling, so it is worth a visit. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, click the like button, and I will appreciate watching and reading any comments that you care to make. Otherwise, I will see you down the road for the next one. Bye now.